The most iconic symbol of the American West isn't actually American. And when it showed up, it did more than just roll through the frontier. It occupied it. If you walked up to a cowboy in 1870 and showed him a tumbleweed, he wouldn't even have a name for it. He would have never seen one. It didn't exist there. The tumbleweed is an alien invader, a Russian stowaway that spread so fast it buried homes, stopped trains, and nearly broke the spirit of the West. We're the ones who invited it in. I'm Silas Whitlock, and this is Cross-Wired History. In 1873, Bonham County, South Dakota, Russian Mennonite immigrants arrived with a specific future in mind: flaxseed. But mixed into those valuable sacks was an invisible passenger: Russian thistle. This wasn't just an ordinary weed. It was a biological machine built for a very specific type of environment, the kind we were about to create. By the 1890s, the thistle had graduated from nuisance to national emergency. One plant could drop 200,000 seeds. But its real edge was a design choice no native plant had: the ability to let go. It snaps itself off at the root and transforms into a tumbling delivery system. They piled everywhere. They clogged irrigation ditches. They buried families in their homes. Now, if all they did was pile up against fences and buildings, that would be one thing. But on the dry grasslands of the West, tumbleweeds could give an already dangerous fire a way around the rules. Fire breaks were meant to stop flames from spreading across the ground. A burning tumbleweed could roll right over them. It could scatter embers into dry grass. Or worse, it could catch other tumbleweeds and widen the fire's path before anyone could stop it. Suddenly, fire on the prairie wasn't just spreading, it was traveling. The USDA called it a plague. Federal and state agencies went to great lengths trying to control Russian thistle, burning it, cutting it, plowing it under, warning farmers to destroy it before it could spread again. But the map tells a bigger story. This wasn't just a nuisance plant. It was a massive system failure. To understand how a weed conquered the West, you have to look at the ground we prepared for it. After the Civil War, the frontier was a massive experiment in human behavior. Railroads carved up the map. The Homestead Act pushed thousands of families onto land that had never seen a plow. When we tore up the deep-rooted prairie grass, we were dismantling the only security system the soil had. We replaced a stable ancient ecosystem with fragile crops. We had essentially removed the brakes from the environment. And that's exactly what the tumbleweed was waiting for. Flaxseed was a cash crop, but it came with a hidden tax. Thistle seeds are tiny, nearly identical to flax. One contaminated shipment was all it took. The plant didn't succeed despite our efforts. It succeeded because of them. Every plowed field and overgrazed pasture was a VIP lounge for an invader that thrives on disturbed ground. Most plants try to survive. This one tries to multiply. It grows fast, dies fast, and then it breaks free. That breakpoint, the abscission layer, is a mechanical joint designed for departure. It doesn't just move, it deploys. Every bounce is a seed drop, over fences, across rail lines, through entire states. By the 1890s, the Russian invasion had reached the Pacific. By the early 1900s, the bill was coming due. Overgrazed land, stripped soil, massive expansion into fragile territory. When the rain stopped, the environment had no defense left. The Dust Bowl was the inevitable consequence of a system we pushed too far. But when everything else died, one thing didn't. In 1934, the Great Plains looked like the surface of the moon. Crops were powder, The grass was gone. Cattle were literally starving to death in the dust. But in the middle of this graveyard, there was a single, vibrant flash of green. The invader was thriving. While the American crops failed, Russian thistle was feasting on the chaos. Desperate farmers realized that before it dries out into a rolling husk, this plant is succulent. It's high in protein, rich in minerals. So we adapted. We harvested it, ground it up, and turned 1 million tons of the enemy into emergency feed. The very plant the government spent decades trying to kill became the only reason the American beef industry didn't go extinct. The tumbleweed isn't a story about an invasion. It's a story about a vacancy. We changed the land, and nature sent in the only thing that could survive our mistakes. Nature doesn't care about our borders or our icons. It only cares about filling the gaps we leave behind. Sometimes, the thing we fight the hardest is the only thing that ends up holding the ground together. Remember, history isn't a straight line. Keep looking for that next connection.